for any individuals who are going through something that was very similar to what you went through in terms of battling with this reality that it's time to go. Do you have any advice, like poignant, like specific words of advice for someone who might be in those specific shoes?
Yeah, so I'm not gonna sit here and tell you like, "Oh, it was harder in my day. I walked a mile to school barefoot each way in snow." But this too shall pass. And, I'm not a particularly spiritual guy, but, I think that you don't get assigned work that you are not capable of doing. And you don't get saddled with a challenge that you are not capable of overcoming. You just need to figure out the path. And if you view it as a challenge that you need to kind of rise to, uh, then it's a lot easier to deal with these things, right? I mean, I thought it was incredibly unfair that I got blown up. It was incredibly unfair to my master sergeant who was killed. It was incredibly unfair to the major, the two captains, and the two sergeants who were wounded, and the petty officer first class who's now a senior chief petty officer and received the Silver Star for his actions that day. It was unfair to all of us. And I still wouldn't change a thing about that because it made me who I am today. Those challenges, as hard as they were, I mean, let me rephrase that. I would do anything to have my master sergeant back. I would do anything for him to be alive 9 months from his retirement date and get to have the life that he deserved in retirement. But in terms of the things that I did, you got to forgive yourself and you got to figure it out. And maybe it takes a lot of maturity, maybe it takes a lot of stubbornness, uh, maybe it takes a lot of bourbon. You figure it out, right? But you go on that journey and you know that you're not going to give up, right? You're not going to quit. And there are a ton of resources if it gets hard, right? There are mentors. I mean, Billy, you reached out to me over LinkedIn, right?
Yep.
You connected with me that way. You were you were one fish in a sea of people who I have chatted with, and I have always tried to pay it forward because people answered my emails, people answered my LinkedIn messages. When I reached out cold and was like, "Hey, this is my story. This is who I am. I'm interested in this. You're involved in this. Can we chat?" They took the time. Uh, and if you're having a hard time with any of this, gosh, worst case scenario, go talk to a chaplain. Best case scenario, go talk to an organization like Commit. Go talk to American Corporate Partners. Go talk to any of these organizations that are laser focused on how to make better transitions for veterans, how to get you into the right job the first time, how to help you think about how do I want to live my life, right? Those are really important things that are out there. But the most important thing is to just keep moving. Put one foot in front of the other and keep moving.
Thank you for sharing that. And I definitely think the one thing that I will certainly echo for anyone who's out there who's going through that is community is incredibly important. Having people to lean on is incredibly important. And also, like, if you fought the good fight and you served, the defense of the nation will not end because you decide to make a decision that benefits you and your family. And at some point, you're gonna have to step away from the military eventually, and so it's okay. Like, it's okay to do that. And, yeah,
Yes.
that's the only thing that I would tag on to that.
It, it's a, it is a truth as old as time. Uh, when one steps out of the line, another shall take his or her place. And it's true, right? The day that you left the Air Force, what happened? Somebody rolled into your job. Maybe not the day, maybe a day before. Maybe you got a little bit more of a turnover. Maybe there wasn't a turnover and you left the binder, but knowing that the organization will endure and that it'll forget about you. Individuals who you served with will remember you and the impact that you had. I mean, that's your legacy, right? Uh, proudest moment of my military career happened a couple of weeks ago. One of my staff NCOs who I'd worked with for probably 18 months very closely, uh, reached out to me and asked me to be his retiring officer. I don't talk to him every quarter. I probably talk to him maybe twice a year. We call each other on Christmas, maybe a birthday call or, some other anniversary throughout the calendar. But I had an impact on him and he had an impact on me. And that was a really nice kind of cherry on top. Actually, he called me on the day the 5-year anniversary of the day that I retired, to ask me to do this. And you never know where that kind of cherry on top, that closure is going to come from. Right. Uh, but the most important thing to do is know that you have to pick up and move on. And if you're, fighting in a untenable position, displace, keep moving.